Okay, this is a movie for Access Chapter 10, Problem Solve 1. This is the third movie, and we're starting at Step 7. We're working on a blank form, a form that we started without connecting it to an underlying table. And the purpose of the form is to accept entry of data that's going to feed a query which will allow a report to run. So it's producing a nicer input for getting those parameter values for a query. So far we've got two unbound controls, one for our starting grade and one for our ending grade. And now what we want to do is put some buttons on this form so that our users can use them to run various objects, so a query or a report. And hold on one second. Okay, so we're going to add a button to the form below the ending grade label, so right about here, and display the text run student grade and then name it this. Okay, so let's do that. So we have to go to design because that's where our controls are. We have to find the appropriate control, which is the button. Remember, it's the third one over. We're going to click and we're going to draw a button about there. Okay. So then we have to analyze, what is it saying we want to do? Add a button to the form below to run. So right here, run query by grade. So record, form, report. I'm going to go to miscellaneous. That's where our run a query is at. So we're going to do miscellaneous, run a query, next. There's only one query, so it is sitting on it already, query by grade. And the text in this button is going to be run student grade query. Next, and then it's going to be named CMD QRY grade. And finish. Perfect. So now that button will allow our users to click on that and run the query and put whatever starting and ending, run the query using the starting and ending grade in these unbound controls. Well, we haven't got there yet, but that's what our goal is. Okay, so we're going to add a second button. So we go up to our controls, find our button, click on it. We're going to just do it to the right here. And let's see what it is. Display, let's see, to close the form. Oh no, we're up one. Open report student by grade. Okay, so that's a report. So let's find report here and then let's look at this. So we want to open the report. So open report, not print, not preview, open it. That's the only report we have, so we're picking that. Our text is going to be open student grade report. Next, CMD RPT grade, finish. So we've got that done, and we're going to do a third button that's going to close the form. So we're going to come up here. I'm going to click off of it, come up here, lay another button down. This time it is, we're working on this form and we want to close this form. So we would go to form operations, close form. The text is going to stay closed form. We still have to select it though. Next, and then it's going to be CMD close form. And finish. So we have that done. But now if you notice, our buttons all kind of look different sizes. They're maybe differently spaced. So we're going to align it by their top edge. So I'm going to select these, go to the Arrange tab, Align Top. I'm going to size to widest. And then I am just going to make sure I have spacing equally horizontal. Save. Save and close the report, or the form. So we got that done. All right, now we need to modify query by grade. So we're going to right click on query by grade in design view. And what we want to do here is we need to modify this, remember, because right now we're just asking for it, but we want to modify it so that it pulls the values from that form that somebody just entered. Okay, so where would that be corresponding in your textbook? That would be on page 558 is the explanation and example of what we're going to do here. So I'm going to start by right-clicking and actually I'm going to start by deleting that. And then I want to use my build. Because remember, this is the one where using the build is easier than trying to put all of these properties in it. So we want to pull a piece of information off of a form. We still want the between and, between value and value. So I typed my between, but then I have to go grab my controls. And so if you take a look at this, this is our file, right? It's our access. If I open that up, it lists all the main object types. We know we want to pull this data off of a form. So I'm going to open up load all forms and find the form student by grade. Once I click on that, in this middle part, the expression shows all of the objects that are on that form. So I just need to find where my value is. So what would this be? Starting grade, right? So let's double click on that. And ending grade. Much easier than typing all of that in, right? So we're going to go ahead and do OK. And save it and close it. So now here's one of the caveats with that. So now we always have to get to that query and that report through that form. Otherwise, the query and then the report would not work. So you always have to navigate to those two objects through that form, because that's what holds the values that are going to feed the criteria on that query. So once you do this process, you have to limit the way that that query can be accessed and that report as directly from that form. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at this next step. Modify report student by grade A student. So the grade parameter entered form shows in the header. Okay. So let's open that. Oh, you know what? I'm at 9 minutes. Let's start this next one at our next movie. All right. Thank you.